Well, hello and welcome to Energy Mastery TV. My name is Nick Hansinger. I'm the president of Energy Mastery, and today we're talking about being addicted to the struggle. And boy, this is a really fascinating topic. You know, this past weekend I was teaching a 2-day class. We had some really, really lovely and wonderful people there to share an experience in that. And it's a topic that came up, you know, in the healing process. So as you're healing and going through these processes, I think a lot of times it's somewhere along the way there was a decision that it needed to be hard, right? And that decision gets played out in a lot of different ways. And what happens over time is the mind actually becomes addicted to that sense of struggle. And then it's like, well, if you're not struggling, then, you know, you're not doing it right, or it's not going to work, or it has to be hard. And that's just the exact opposite of how the healing process really works, and what is actually required in order to do that. Now, certainly, you can make it hard, and that's one way to go with that. But there are some other ways as well. So one of the participants in particular, there's just a lot of old things and just lots of old things starting to work their way out. And that addiction to the struggle and the drama around that can make the healing process really, really, really heavy. So once you have a system, right? Once you have a system that you can work again and again and again, you start to weed through those layers in a much more orderly fashion, and in a way that is not so dramatic and so upsetting to life. You know, a lot of times I've seen a lot of people who, you know, they have to like check out, and it's like things start to get hard, and they're like, I just need to like take a step back and, you know, really focus on my own self-care and really get into my healing. And then they wind up with this in and out. So stepping out and then stepping back in, and then trying to restart and stepping out and again, that's another another layer of that trauma and drama around being in your healing process. And once you're addicted to that struggle, well, it doesn't matter how much, you know, energy healing that you do. At the end of the day, if you don't have a mechanism to deal with the addiction of the mind and the decisions that were made in order to, that said, this has to be hard, or, you know, I have to do this and I have to work really hard and do it this way, well, then you're going to be you're going to continue to recreate those same patterns again and again and again. And it's just a way of perpetuating that addiction to the struggle. So how you get out of that, there's a couple different ways. Number one is make sure you have a system, right? Is having a system to work through step by step by step. That's what Energy Mastery is. It's a system wherein you work through the energetics, and then you work through the mental and emotional patterns that have been perpetuating those and that keep those things stuck. And then once you have a system, it's really just about working that system, staying in the game with it, and allowing those patterns to unwind. Because you think about it, like that addictive pattern is something that's been playing out. You know, you can just look in your own life, you know, and ask yourself, well, how long have I been playing that one out, right? And that's years and years and years in the making. Well, it's going to, you know, take a little bit to unwind that. It's, you know, not necessarily something that will unwind over the course of a couple hours or something like that. It may take a little bit of time to unwind that pattern. You're not doing anything wrong. That's not broken. That's a healthy system that helps to unwind those so that you can readapt and in your life in a way that you can have more ease and grace, right? So working that system, dealing with your energetics to make sure that those things get cleaned up, that your body stays healthy, that you stay resilient, right? And just really stay healthy and energized and resilient in your life, and then working with the mental and emotional patterns to unwind those. And that can be really, really difficult if you don't have a system. You get lost into the mind, right, down the rabbit hole. So that system helps to keep you accountable and on track to solve what you need to solve, rather than getting off into all of your past life stuff and all of the old all this stuff. Like, that is just crazy town waiting to happen. And it's really not necessary. to do what you're here to do. So that is another addiction to the drama. And this solves that problem by just having a system and working the system. Now, I do want to mention before I finish this video, the flip side of that coin really quickly, which is expecting everything to be perfectly easy and graceful and lovely every step of the way, and wanting it and needing it to feel that way, right? So it's like, okay, you get rid of the addiction to the struggle, and then there's this other side of the coin that says everything's going to be easy and perfect, and if it's not easy and perfect, then I must be on the wrong track. That's not accurate either. And what that will cause is for you to stop. Because if something doesn't feel easy, or if you feel resistance about it, you're like, well, I guess that just must not be the right thing. Not necessarily. Okay, but the struggle is an attitude towards it, and easy is an attitude. Okay, so just because you're working hard or there is some resistance that you're meeting does not mean that it's hard, or it has to be hard and heavy and harsh. It just means that there's effort required in order to, say, move through a barrier. The same way that there's effort involved in working the muscles of your body. And if you've not been working out for a while, that's probably not going to feel awesome to start with. Your body's going to go through some adjustments. Well, same way on the path of healing, of growth and development and all of that. It is a process to really keep, to build that resiliency and that ability to continue to move forward. So, and on that path, not everything is going to feel easy and perfect, right? There will be times when we're, putting in that effort. Making it hard and heavy is an attitude, though, and that's a choice. And if you expect it to always be easy, well, a good chance that you'll stop when it's not. And that will just disrupt the process. And what that is sending back into that cycle of stopping and starting and in and out and in and out, where you do for a little while and then you stop and start and stop. And that's just another addiction to that struggle, right? So getting out of the struggle is really about just having a system, working the system, making sure that you have the best tools possible. And that's what we seek to provide with Energy Mastery, is really just the very best tools to see you along your path towards your highest and best. So every step of the way. So if that sounds interesting to you and you could use a system like that, all you have to do is comment below and say, hey, I would love to talk about that. And we'll reach out personally and find a time for us to chat. That's a really, really great way to start, is just have a conversation about it, see what's going on in your life, where you'd like to make some shifts, and then to find the highest and best path on the way there. Oh my God, my 15-year-old could use this message in his archery tournaments. That is so cool. Go ahead and share it. You never know. I just had another person share one of my other videos with their son, a little bit older, but same kind of thing. What's cool is that you just never know when somebody will hear the message, maybe from a different voice or maybe from somewhere else that just happens to resonate with them. So those things can be really helpful, and you look at, and just to kind of put a cap on this here, is you look at how many places and how many times it's been reiterated that you must struggle in order to, be successful. It's like basically, the crux of any Hollywood story, and, all kinds of archetypal mythology and things like that. It's like, you must struggle, it must be really hard, and you're going to go into a, deep soul in all this stuff. It's like been reinforced a lot of times. So unwinding that and finding a new way, and then that struggle gets glorified, and then the mind becomes addicted to it. So kind of detaching that and unwinding that, it's really starting with that question of, hey, what if it could be a little bit easier here? What if I chose to not struggle and to still put forth the same kind of concerted effort? I wonder what that would be like. And sometimes that question is enough to jar it loose and to start a new train of thought. So I hope that's helpful. Go ahead and share. Yeah, if you've got somebody in your life who's really in that cycle of struggle, please go ahead and share. And certainly if you want some tools and techniques to start to unwind that for yourself and find more ease and grace in your growth and in your development and in doing awesome things in the world, all you have to do is comment below, and we'll be right there for you. We'd love to have a conversation about that. So thanks so much for watching. It's really so appreciated, and really appreciate all of you, and have an awesome, awesome, magical Monday. Peace.